My name is Catherine Shane Leiden, and I made up Toccata blocks. Toccata blocks are a proportionally shaped note value toy. And so what happens is that, for instance, this is a quarter note. A quarter note gets one beat typically. This is a half note. It's held for twice the duration of a quarter note, and so therefore is twice as wide as a quarter note. And on the opposite side of all the tiles, there are the equivalent rest values. So I use this with my students. I teach about 3.5 years up, and the first thing you do with the kids is you just give them the tiles to play with. It's like, here you go, let's play with the Toccata blocks. And they love it. They like to put together little castles. And then you say, okay, it's time to put the Toccata blocks away. Who has a whole note? And they'll grab the whole note. And I said, now how many beats does that get? 4 beats, all right. And who has a half note? The half note gets 2 beats. Yes, you got it. And so on and so on. Then what we do is we put together random bits of rhythm. And we count it together. 1, 1 and 1 and 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Then we start introducing the rest values. And as soon as you get the rest values in there, they'll try to trick me by giving me all rests. Those tricky kids. And so from there, then they start understanding that all of these have these specific values. Now we start adding the meters. Now, the time signature tiles are color coordinated with their proper bases. And so what happens is that when you put that time signature tile in this base, it will only fit the proper number of beats. So for instance, it'll fit 1 whole note, or it will fit 2 half notes, like that. And then what happens is that we can put together all of these different kinds of rhythms within these meters. So now that you're listening to the MP3, and the MP3 will give us 4/4 time, and then it'll give us a metronome click to get in. Tick, 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 tick. Doo, doo. 1, 2, silence, 1. Okay, so that means that it's probably going to be 1, 2, rest, 1. And then you can check the card to see if it's correct, or you can check with the teacher as well. So what's nice about Toccata blocks is that it grows with the student. You know, when you're first introducing the concept of dividing beats, the 8th notes are paired already. The student can't make an impossibly syncopated measure right off the bat. They use the paired 8th notes. The other thing that's really nice is that it illustrates concepts that are kind of hard to describe to kids. For instance, the dotted note with your dotted half note. There's your dotted half note, so you have a half note, and 50% of the value of a half note is a quarter note, and there it is, proportionally right there. I've used Toccata blocks for years with my students, and the first time I realized that I really had something very, very different was that when I had a learning disabled child. And he wasn't particularly successful in anything in school, but after he came back from his piano lesson, he would storm back into his classroom, and he was so excited and so happy. And finally his teacher came up to me and says, "What are you doing with this child? This is wonderful that he's so excited about something in school." And so I showed her my Toccata blocks, my giant oak stair tread Toccata blocks, and she said, "This is amazing. You need to share this with other people." And so as I started sharing it, and as I started talking to designers, and as I started talking with everybody, it seems that pretty much the universal reaction is, I wish I had this when I was a kid. Because rhythm can be hard to explain, and music is such an integral part of our lives, so that if we can get kids to be able to understand rhythm and to be able to just, oh, that's a half note, oh, that's a quarter note, I know how this all goes together, well, it makes the rest of music just that much easier to do, and it'll keep everybody together. And so really a great way of learning, makes every lesson successful. You know, not every kid has a chance to be able to practice, but if they have a chance to be able to play with the toccata blocks at the end of the lesson, they are successful, they're excited, and they're happy to be learning music, and I've done my job. So the reason I need KickStarter is I need $13,000 to be able to put together the initial run. Now, once I can get it in front of people's faces and I can have them see it and touch it and be able to understand it, then that will generate enough interest so that I'll be able to order a much larger run. And I've got some really cool incentives so that if you give a little or a lot, you'll be investing in toccata blocks and getting a really cool little object for you. So I hope you invest in me, and I hope you invest in the music students, and thank you so much.